So today we're going to talk about sex. Sexual healing. Now I know I'm being a little playful right now. And sex is meant to be playful. It's meant to be fun and expansive and bonding and joyful and wild. But when you have been abused, sex is not always a very fun activity. And even my goofing off in the beginning may have pissed some of you off, and you may feel annoyed and discounted. And that's all natural, very natural, normal feelings. But this is a video about healing our sexuality. So, we want to integrate that playful, lively place. That's where we want it. That's what we desire. We want to get to that place, where we're happy. And we can open ourselves to that kind of magical, beautiful sharing with ourselves and with another person. So I want to preface this by saying I'm not a therapist. I'm not a professional in the field. I'm just a person who has a history of violent sexual assault, physical abuse, mental mind control, and emotional abuse. And I'm on my own healing journey of discovering myself and creating myself and recovering my essence, recovering my innocence. Now, the subject of sexuality, is so huge. Like, our planet is, it's just like the ultimate vibrational sex mojo manifestation. Plant life, animals, humans, we're all here because of sex. Couldn't be here without sex. We're all here because of sex. And my gosh, you look throughout history, wars have, happened over romantic love and sexuality. You think about, oh gosh, so many people have been manipulated and controlled through sexuality, men and women, alike. So it's a big deal. Okay, so let's say we have the two edges of having been abused, okay, sexually, and however so you've got the one end where you're completely shut down. You have no feeling. You've numbed yourself out. You don't desire sex. You don't really think about. You don't even want it. You don't want to touch yourself. You resist yourself. You may create a lot of body fat around yourself to protect yourself, or you may just wear a lot of layers and layers of clothing to try to keep yourself insulated from the world. You may do things to try to keep people from looking at you. I have known women who were molested really young, who didn't even start their periods until they were like 30, and always had female reproductive issues and things like that. Abuse can have huge impacts on our health. It's not just, all sorts of health issues come. And so anyway, the other end of the spectrum, the other edge is being completely promiscuous and just having no boundaries and just opening yourself up and just sex is the answer to everything. You do everything you do, sex heals everything, and that's how you cope. That's how you cope with things in your life. You cope with them through sex. There's so much to say on the subject of sex and sexual healing, but I really want to keep it very simple for this video. And the magical pearl of sexual healing is self-love. I know a lot of, let me go on a little bit about self-love. A lot of us try to seek, we seek approval from outside of ourselves. Codependency, that's what we do. You know, we look for someone to define us because we've lost ourselves. And often that person is defining us in a way that's really destructive and critical and, you know, breaks us down even more. But it validates that voice that we're not worth anything, that we're not lovable, we're not valuable. So that, you know, loving the self, having a relationship with your source, source energy. You can call it your higher self, the divine intelligence, God, source energy, whatever you want, whatever turns you on, you know, wherever you vibrate. You know, you got to figure out your own language around your spirituality, around your life, you know. But that relationship is not going anywhere. It's always there. It's everlasting. It's eternal. And you may forget about it. You may even be angry at source. You may be pissed off because of the things you've been through, you know, the things you've had to experience, and you might be mad. You know, I was a cutter for a long time, and at one point I cut into my arm, "I hate God." That's how fucking mad I was. So mad, so angry. But source is just unconditional love, and it just is always there. You can be flipping out and being mad and do everything you want, you know, go off and do whatever you want. Source will be there when you want to tap in. And when you do tap in, the welcoming is just so profoundly powerful and engaging and beautiful. A couple years ago, I really started nurturing my spirituality, and I've been talking about this more in my videos because it's been such an extremely, it's just helping me with everything. I mean, sexual healing, you know, we're really seeking is authentic health. You know, authentic health. What's authentic health? It's health on all levels. You know, it's when your mind is clear and your emotions are balanced, your body feels fit and good, you're in connection with spirit, you're taking time to be in nature, you know, and your work and your life is just all an expression of that divine love and beauty and, you know, desire, magical desire, you know, just, it's, you know, it's where it's at. We want to be authentically healthy. And you know, so how do we heal? So many things. I just like, my mind is just like, man, I have so much I want to say about this. Some interesting things in the psychological language. When you are having sex and your lips are touching and your skin is touching with another person, it's very, you know how when you meet someone and you just get, everything's magical and you get along together and everything's wonderful, and then you have sex and everything goes sideways. And you're like, what happened? Well, when you have sex with someone and all this touching and stimulation, if you have any early childhood memories, they will be evoked. You may not even know, it may just be the emotion that comes up. You don't really even know that it's a memory. You just know suddenly it's getting triggered. Because, you know, it's like the nursing response and being touched as a baby and being wiped and, you know, having your bottom cleaned when you change your diaper. It's a very interesting, I mean, when I learned that, I was like, whoa, it just explains so much, you know. And, you know, so I think that is pretty interesting awareness. And the thing is like I've seen a lot of people, like they get out of their abusive experience and they go on to another relationship. They kind of relationship hop. And you know, usually you just do this and then you get out of it and then you do that again. Now, sometimes people can kind of evolve a little bit, like they get into a little bit healthier relationship, but then it's still not quite, you know, and then you can take paths, you know, like that, but you're still never going to get to that authentic health. You're always going to be being defined by another person. I've also seen people who are in their toxic relationship and then another relationship comes in, maybe a nice guy, and it comes in and then they stay in that new relationship and they divorce the other person. But I have there's always something toxic about that new relationship. I don't often see someone come out of their toxic relationship and move into this healthy, beautiful relationship. I just haven't really seen it myself. That's just me. But I'm, anyway. I think there's something really important about taking time alone with yourself to nurture your relationship with Source, and to fall in love with yourself, and to get to know who you are, get to know yourself. What do you like? What don't you like? There's all sorts of discoveries to be made, and when you're with another person, there's that other person there, like mirroring things. And sometimes it's nice just to be spacious and let life be your mirror, and continue to keep coming back to yourself. For myself, I was noticing I was kind of relying on my mood and my feeling good and valuable and lovable in relation to how a man was responding to me that I was interested in. So I might be having a connection with a guy and he would send me a little sexy text or a little emoji or something, and I'd be like, oh, and it'd be like glitter in my day, and I'd feel really good. But if I didn't hear from him for a few days, suddenly my value started to diminish. And I noticed at one point, it kind of escalated in this one particular situation, and I really went off the deep end, and I realized how needy I was, really needy, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling, and what I felt like was that the visual imagery that came is that I spilled myself out, my face smashed on the cement, and I was dragging myself face down across the cement through my relationships with men. That was the vision that came to me. I was like, whoa, okay. So, and I've had kind of spaces of being alone, because, I got married really young, and I did have some time between, being on my own, but not enough to get grounded. I was very dysfunctional in that period, and always in connection with a lover of some kind. And then I got married, and I was in a very long marriage. And so, it's kind of, of course, a lot of people, meet young and they get married, have children and stuff. And I think in Japan, when a woman goes through menopause or she comes into the middle of her life, they call it the second spring, which I really like. And that's really been my experience. I kind of come into the middle of my life, and it's just this whole new, fresh experience. It's I'm just first, it's my first time being alive, so I'm having my second spring. And so anyway, so I've had periods of being alone and then periods of engaging, and I've, learned a lot of different things from my exploration since my marriage, a lot of things about myself. But at a certain point I realized I kind of really need to pull back and, take some Eliza time and really get to know myself and fall in love with myself and really develop that strong connection with Source, where I'm unwavering, and not having to have the need to be approved of by anyone, because I already am valuable and lovable. We all are valuable and lovable. So anyway, so falling in love with ourselves. Now there's, you can get onto YouTube, and everyone has top 5 things to heal your life, or top 10 things to ways to love yourself. I'm sure there's everyone has top 10. I even have top 10 tips on starting a healthy life after abuse. I mean, I don't know what it is about that, but it's running rampant. So anyway, I'm not going to do that right now, but there are some things you can do, first of all, just romanticizing yourself. Just being in a romantic relationship with yourself, and every day, get up and take your shower and do your, put on your beautiful makeup and put on a nice outfit, dress for the date of your life every day, just like you're having a date with life, every day. Every day is a date with life. You don't wait till 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock or whatever. You start your day being in love with yourself. Of course, exercising, eating well, these are all beautiful ways to nurture ourselves. Take yourself out on a date, go to your local bistro, have a glass of wine, watch the people go by, bring a book or a journal or something if you want to. There's all different ways like that to love yourself. And that will help a lot, because the thing is when we don't have any boundaries, or kind of running ourselves through these patterns, it really hurts the heart. And that's what I realized with myself, getting into these insecure patterns with men about having them validate my worth. It was really, and having sex too early, it was really hurting my heart. Like I would have sex before I was ready. And, I kept thinking, be free. And I was trying all these different attitudes on, I was trying all these different things on. But what I really realized is I'm not that kind of girl. It takes me some time. And I'm not ready for that in my life right now. Like I'm at a stage now where I'm just getting right with myself. And I'm working on my career, and I'm, working on my health, and, and I'm having fun. And I'm not, I'm kind of, I've just set a gentle boundary, as far as, my relationship with men right now. So that's where I am. This is why I feel so strongly about it, because it's so helpful. So let's move into the sexual part, okay? Because sensuality, self-love, sexuality, it all kind of intertwines, okay? It all intertwines together. But touching ourselves. You may find that you can only touch yourself sensually like over clothes. And it may even just be like a t-shirt and boxers or something. Like that might be your starting point. Or maybe just rub some, lotion or oil just into your arms. Maybe that's all you can do for now. And just like, see what it feels like. Like, what does gentle touch feel like? Like, what's your response to like a gentle touch? Or what if you were a little rougher with yourself? What does that feel like if you're a little bit rougher? And, just gently explore touching yourself. There's some really, I want to say too, like, and really being careful not to, okay, so if you're at one end of the spectrum and you're like kind of shut down, it's going to be really hard just to do that. That would be a really like, wow, that's kind of hard to do. You might feel like that. Where on the other end of the spectrum, when you've had no boundaries, you may just get right down in there and like rub one out, and you just like, and it's almost violent. Like you just go for that, like you go for that orgasm, and I really suggest like, don't worry about the orgasm right now. Like don't go there. Just work on sensation and like touching yourself in different ways all over your body. Lock your door, close your curtains, and, maybe put some nice music on, whatever makes you feel relaxed, and just explore. And, you may start out but get into a habit of it. Like, don't just do it once a month or something. I mean, really like, this is you need to make an effort for this, but it will eventually be very effortless, and you want to move towards it being effortless. You want to be touching yourself, effortless. You want it to feel nice and effortless. But the thing is, things are going to come up. Like, you may start to have some fantasies while you're touching yourself. And they might be violent fantasies, and they might feel scary. And it doesn't mean that you want to be treated violently. Even if you're getting turned on, it could just be a memory of how you've been treated, or a familiar way of having sex. Maybe that was very familiar for you. So just now this is a good time to say, being in therapy is a very important thing when you are healing from abuse and mind control and assault and all this stuff. I mean, it's so helpful. And when you're healing your sexuality, you know, that's like, being molested when you're a really young child, being raped, being violently raped, it's a vibration that resonates and throughout your whole being. And so, you're going to need someone to be able to process it with. You don't want to be alone with yourself, and you certainly don't want to be, processing it all with your friends. You really need somebody professional who can help you with these feelings and help you process them and clean house. So, you are going to have fantasies. So, they're going to give you information. And some fantasies, you may want to walk through the whole fantasy. Go through the fantasy. See how it ends up, see what happens. Walk through it, try on different fantasies. That's kind of a neat thing where, going into a sex store. Well, that might be too much to just physically go into a sex store, but maybe you go online. And, and you go to some, sex toy stores and online and just kind of see what's out there. Like, there's some really great books, go with curiosity. That's kind of the playful part of sex. Like, be curious, kind of look at some books and think, God, sex on the wild side. What is that? Or, tickle your, what was it? There's once, I was going to say tickle your pickle, but I don't know what it's called. It's like a silly little title, so there's all sorts of like different kinds of books and all different extremes. And, you may have some, bondage domination things going on, get the book. There's all sorts of videos, there's a store that opened in San Francisco many years ago, and, Good Vibrations. And it was just sort of like, I think it was like the beginning of like sex stores starting to kind of be something, not so, cliche, people were like, wow, like it's okay to, want to touch yourself or buy a toy or whatever. The shame factor had, lessened in our society. So anyway, and they were so cool in there. Like, you'd go in and they were like, hi, and what are you looking for? And how can I help you? And they were so helpful to help you get what you needed, even though you'd kind of stumble your way trying to explain it. But they have a website, goodvibes.com. And, that might be a good place to start. It's just familiar to me, but, they have like reviews of the toys and, and then they have like videos, like you can even get videos. And I think like you can buy one for like $10 and then watch it whenever you want, off their site. You just download it. And, I watched one on their site on masturbation, and whoa, I like really learned some things, like things that I didn't know about myself. And it was a very informative video. I was like, wow, that was a really good video. And so, it's not, just explore your fantasies in a safe space at your own computer at home. Watch a video that you're curious about. And it may seem really, slutty and naughty and, dark and, well, watch it. See what comes up. What do you like about that? What do you want to get out of that? What does it mean to be enslaved? What does it mean to be free? What does it mean to be in control? What does it mean not to be in control? I mean, you can go on and on. Okay. So there's that. So you can kind of practice with your fantasies. Also toys they can be so helpful. Like starting out with just a vibrator, is, and just, you don't have to just put the vibrator between your legs. You can put the vibrator all over your body. And if you're someone who's been very shut down, or overstimulated, I mean, on both sides of the spectrum, to slowly let your body just slowly feel vibration, it kind of wakes you up, and it keeps you from those extremes. It kind of, brings you into the moment and you can feel, and it's a very, so working with vibration. And there's vibrators that are all different. You can get a really gentle one, and there's ones that are really strong. I think it's nice to have a buffet of vibrators. You just, start, when you can, just buy yourself a new toy and try it out and see how it feels, and read the reviews and practice your fantasies, and and try things that maybe you're a little scared of, or things that you resist. Working with a dildo, is a very, very helpful tool, especially if you've been raped. Because, the penis is, could be a real triggering thing for you, And so if you get a dildo, you can practice. You can practice putting it, you may not even be able to put it inside yourself for a while, maybe just at the entryway, or maybe just holding it on your body and feeling the shape of a penis and what that feels like and what it brings up for you. I mean, you may not even use it for a while. And if you're somebody who's been really, really shut down, starting out, they have all different sizes. So, you don't have to get some gigantic thing, just get something small, and start working with the sensation of something moving into your body and moving out of your body. And what does that feel like? And what does it bring up? And, you're going to go through a lot of things. I mean, that's just you're going to go through a lot of feelings. But again, it's like, love yourself through it. You may burst out crying. You may resist. You may suddenly go on a boycott and not want to touch yourself for a month or something, But I say try to hang in there with it and just work with your sexuality and work on feeling, and then also, like I said, when you get all dressed up and go out, it's a very sensual experience, You can wear really sexy underwear underneath your outfit. No one will know but you. And it could be a real sexy feeling when you're out, but no one, it's between you and you, so there's so many fun things you can do to play with yourself. So I'm just giving you a few ideas. Just take it, gently, but consistently. So as far as the art piece, now we haven't looked at the art piece in a little while. And, as you might remember, she has no genitalia. There's no genitalia there. So, of course, we have to do something about that. One of my closest friends, her sister died about, 6 or 7 years ago. And it was really sad because she was an incredible woman and she was a beautiful photographer. And she took very sensual photographs of nature, of flowers, really. It was her big thing. And so for my birthday one year, my friend gave me this card that her sister had photographed. And it's called a Papi Puanini. Look at this. I want you to get a really good image of that. That is a flower. Is that incredible or what? Papi Puanini. So, of course, I'm not going to use this. Well, I guess, we could make a bold statement and use this as the genitalia on the art piece, but it's a little big. So I think I'm going to scan it into my computer and make a smaller version that's appropriate for the art piece. But I wanted you to be able to see this image. I just find it incredible. It's like, whoa, talk about sex and nature. I mean, it's incredible. So anyway, that's how I'm going to represent sexual healing on the art piece. So anyway, love yourself, enjoy yourself, get to know yourself. There's no rush to get into a relationship. There's no rush whatsoever. When you're ready, it'll come. You don't have to go looking, it'll come. For now, take care of yourself, get to know yourself, fall in love with yourself.